Hi, this is Julie DeLeon, and I'm the Curriculum Coordinator for Elementary Language Arts. Today I'm going to walk you through Unit 2 on the ARC and how the pilot resource for explorations in nonfiction writing will be used with Unit 2. So we start off by just letting you know that this is an example of what your resource looks like. This was written by Linda Hoyt and Tony Steed, which are well-known people and educators, researchers and writers within the language arts world. And they also have several books that you might be familiar with, but they both collaborated on this project. So parts of your resource is you have a teacher's guide, lesson book, you have mentor text, and you should also have CD-ROM that includes lots of instructional charts and checklists and assessment forms. So you might want to spend some time looking at that. But for the purpose of this, I want to show you just briefly the materials that you have. So you have the guide to teaching nonfiction writing. So these really are the cornerstones of the philosophy behind this resource, such as writing workshop, demonstration, which is an important part of each mini lesson, modeling, demonstration, and it also gives you other background knowledge and tools and philosophy behind the resource. So this is a good thing to go to for that. You have your lesson plan book, which includes here extended writing units and power rights. So this is the writing workshop content. The extended writing and the power rights are the extension of taking the purpose that you're learning about into writing in the content areas. And talking about the purposes, these here along the side, each of these is a purpose of writing nonfiction that's covered within this resource. You have mentor text. You have a book that looks like this with your mentor text, and then you have a mentor text poster pack. So those are the items that you have, and this resource might not be something that everybody on the team has. It was based on last year's numbers, so you might be having to share some of the resources, but we would like for everyone on the team to that teaches writing to do this unit within the pilot to gather information for us on its success. So I would like to go next to the TEKs that are going to be focused on, and so we're going to go to the ARC. We're going to go to Unit 2 in the ARC, and we're going to click on the ongoing TEKs. So first of all, the ongoing TEKs covered in this unit are 415A through E. So you can scroll down. That's your writing process TEKs, which those are embedded in every unit. And then 418A, I to triple I. So I'm going to scroll down. And that's your expository and procedural TEKs. So work related to communicate ideas and information to specific audiences for specific purposes. That's important here in this unit. And so they're writing compositions with these understandings. And so this unit will focus on through the explorations in non-writing, we will focus on the Persuade purpose, and the Persuade purpose is very much aligned to these standards because the Persuade purpose, if within the explorations in nonfiction, is going to be a text that explains and is going to communicate ideas and information for audiences and with specific purposes. And you'll find in the units that all of these are covered within the lessons as part. And in a little bit we'll look at the rubric for this unit, and you'll also see these echoed there. So when you go to the ARC, I'm going to pull this planning guide up. In a minute I'll show you how to get to that, but this is what I'm going to walk you through today. So I just went through these TEKs. Also, this covers reading TEKs. This is italicized because it's not in the unit of study on the ARC, but it is in this covered through the TEKs in this pilot. And so also figure 19A and D are covered, and then you'll see some research TEKs as well as some oral and written TEKs. So in planning, you need to go to the ARC and in the lessons go and see specifically in the mini lessons how these are covered. So with that being said, we've walked you through the TEKS-based genre, which is expository. That's what it says in our TEKS. In this resource, they're calling it persuasive, which is opinion writing. And opinion writing is a way to explain your opinion. So that's the link between the TEKS and the resource. So in preparation on this guide, it says in preparation for the unit to read pages 161 to 167. So I'm going to turn now to the Persuade part of the book, and I'm going to turn to page 161. And so every unit begins with a big picture. This is really an important part for you to read, and so I'm not going to read it all to you right now, but I do want to highlight that during this unit, what the students are going to do is write a persuasive letter that takes a position on an environmental issue. And the mentor text will echo this. So the mentor text is Dear Friends and Family. So you can see that it starts like a letter, but then is organized very much with the same expectations that our standards have. It's persuading, and it's aligned to our standards in the fact that they are using facts and details, they have a central idea, they're using transitions and a lot of the oral and written convention TEKs there. And, okay, what students will do is a little bit of research, not a whole lot, but they will do a little portion of research as they gather some ideas around the issue of environmental issues that they choose, and then they're going to write a letter. And using that mentor text as a support, and then the teacher should also be modeling a lot with her own, so using those, and then students of course will revise, edit, and publish a letter, and then ultimately share this letter with classmates and then reflect on what they learned about writing a persuasive text through this unit of study. The really important thing that was highlighted in the Hynum and PD this summer is that the huge importance of this is also not throughout the whole unit, but also in delivering. It's really important that students are able to share and display and get this material out to an intended audience so that students feel the purpose and the reason behind writing like this. That was really important to them. And they also talked about the importance of modeling for the teacher doing that through the mini lessons. So that is something that we encourage you to read in depth. I will say that the idea of the position on an environmental issue is something that you don't have to use in this. If you want to use that, you may, or if your team decides to have a different focus there for the persuasive letter, that's completely up to the team. You know, you could relate it to something in social studies or science or something within your community. Something your kids are interested, but you don't have to follow that exactly, and that's what they also said in Hynum. And this is just a guide, but you can change that based on your preference. So then we're going to go down. This part here is something interesting that you maybe would want to read about conferring in small group instruction. I think it's really interesting. But to overview this in connection to the ARC unit lessons, I'm going to keep going. So lesson pages, the same book that I just was in, to look at the big picture. I'm going to refer back to it. And again, it looked like this. And so now you're going to turn, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time going over a few of these things that aren't listed, but I think things that are important. So this next page, 162, will list all the mini lessons. You can see over here to the side that we have 10 lessons, and it talks, this nice chart gives you the focus of every one. It also goes on the next page into assessing students' needs and talking about what you're going to do. Now, part of this pilot that's important is here. It talks about a formal assessment, formal pre-assessment. That is something that we will collect from each of you just to help us understand, kind of more about the pilot and students' writing in the beginning of the unit. So we will collect as part of the unit pilot 3 of formal pre-assessments from your class. And then you'll also see other things. Hopefully you're using the writer's notebook and they have some ideas for that. And then there's looking back. So that was that reflection part that they talked about. So at this point we wanted to let you know that we will collect the formal pre-assessment 3 of those. And you can see more on the ARC for the details on that from the program evaluation. And we'll also collect the end samples from 3 of your students as well. So, also going on, this is the rubric that you will use, and this is on the DVD. And so you would have this, and it talks about here focusing on the standards. It says, before introducing this model unit, carefully review the key skills and understandings below so you can keep the lesson objectives in mind as you teach, coach, and monitor students' growth as writers of persuasive text. So this is something you would definitely want to look over and probably make notes on. Also included in the DVD are these forms, and one says an ongoing monitoring sheet. So this is where, same as what was on the other page, except for now you have spaces for every day, and you can write some notes for yourself for each student. So this might be something in the pilot that's a great tool that you would probably want to print for every student and make notes there. And use this also in next units of study to help you know like where kids were on these. And then here is an individual assessment record also as well. So that would be like at the end. This is like throughout, and this is at the end to help you know like this is where they were. And over here, I don't know if you can see this very well, but it talks about not evident, with assistance, mostly on my own, consistently on my own. So just a way for you to kind of gauge where the children were. So moving on to the next part, you'll see some other things like before the unit, during the unit. You'll probably want to read through that together. And then it goes into the lessons. So you can see on this first day of the lesson, it's identifying the purpose and features of a persuasive text. And probably the way you want to do your pre-assessment here is to start off before session 1. Reviewing with them some mentor text, some letters, and then having them, just prompting them to write like that and just collecting whatever they have, whatever they're able to do, to demonstrate what they know, if they know, and how much they can do within this genre. And then that's the pre-assessment, and then you would go into session 1. And in session 1, again, the focus is, it says here, writers analyze the features of a persuasive text, choose a topic of their own, and write an introductory statement. And so it goes through using the mentor text on this page, and this is the sequence for every unit of mini lesson within the unit, and then it goes through modeling, which you're going to do, and then writing and coaching. So what that will look like, and then during your share time and the reflecting at the end of workshop, it gives you some ideas for that. So in the training from Heinemann, they said that this mini lesson will take about 10 minutes. And so a note is that the writing and coaching is like the independent writing part, and then this is the follow-up at the end of the writing workshop portion. So that kind of overviews for you the way that the lessons are set up. And so you can see the next day it goes through again the focused mini lesson, and then writing and coaching, and then sharing and reflection. So breaking down the writing workshop into the mini lesson, the independent writing and teacher conferring and coaching, and then the sharing and reflecting. So those are the parts of the book that you will